Welcome back to the Open Wheel Offline League, Season 4, Round 15. We just came off the 2.5 mile tricky triangle at Pocono for the Triple Crown, but now we're ready to take on the country roads of West Virginia here at Summit Point Raceway, the smallest road course of the season. And we are about to go through your starting grid as we have a new team that debuted and two new entries. So we're going to have 26 cars, the most we've ever had on the smallest track of the season, not counting the ovals. Dawa Tenzin, a new driver from Tibet, is going to be making his debut at the back of the field. We'll have to see what he can do from there. And then up in 25th is the 54 of Mahavir Raghunathan, looking for some good luck after he's been on a pretty bad streak and has fallen outside the leader circle. 24th, just barely in the leader circle, is the 99 of Brennan Hubbard. Needs a good result to try to stay ahead. 23rd, last out of your full-time drivers, Ethan Martz, all the way down 24th in points. Looking to move forward today. 22nd, another rough qualifying effort for Jacob Abel, but right in front of him in 21st is his teammate Robbie Lohr, who was the points leader at one point in the season, but has fallen all the way down to 8th after a long streak of rough qualifying performances. We'll put him at the back of the field. 20th, once again, being the outlier for Silly Men Racing, is the 42 of Gail Barnhart, just barely above the leader circle cut line. It's been since Milwaukee, since his last top 10. Meanwhile, Armstrong and Chet Jordan have had a lot of success, so that's probably weighing on his mind. 19th, coming off a top 10 at Pocono, it's the number 12 of Miles Rowe. In 18th is the double zero of Glover Lohr, also coming off a top 10. Not so much of a top 10 for Catherine Legg. It was a DNF for her fourth of the season as she got launched into the catch fence. Going to be starting mid-pack today. 16th is Stingray Robb, who just had his best result of the season, and fourth at Pocono. And then your other new driver for Team Canada Drive, and number 44 of Lewis Hamilton, makes his debut. And then we move to 14th, your points leader with another rough qualifying performance, as I don't know why they're trying to pass back there. It is the 11 of Louis Foster, 15-point lead, and he's going to be starting pretty deep today, and this could be a good day for his opponents to capitalize. 13th, David Malukas has been on a solid streak as of lately. 12th, below the leader circle cut line, is the 87 of Alessio Deletta. Had some solid pace at Pocono, but crashed out early on. But he'll start in 12th today. 11th is the number 90 of Guy Gagne after another solid qualifying effort. And then in 10th is another Banshees of Little Miami car. It's the 29 of Benjamin Peterson coming off a top 5. And then his teammate Lindsey Brewer right in front of him in 9th. In 8th is where you find Callum Ilott, and we knew about how good his streak of second places were. So starting pretty solid today, as I don't know where these guys are going off to. But in 7th place, where did he go? Is the 27 of Yuki Tsunoda, coming off a win at Pocono, his second win of the season. Pretty good result for Eventide Racing to win at a Triple Crown race. And then the 33 of Marcus Armstrong had back-to-back poles and starts inside the top 6 once again in 6th place. And then in 5th is his 24 teammate of Chet Jordan, coming off a win at the last road course at Watkins Glen. Not so good of luck at Pocono. But then the 03 of Dorian Pinn starts in 4th, finally getting a good qualifying effort. And then in 3rd is Ryan Preece, looking to get some points today as he's only 17 points back in the championship. Only 15 points back from his teammate. It's the number 43 of Shane Van Gisbergen, chasing down his second championship. And with where he starts today, it could be a good day for him to capitalize. And then the number 9 of Connor Zilic on pole for the second time in his career, second time this season. For some reason, the field is lined up not where they should be. 47 is holding up a lot of cars. You are not where you're supposed to be. We're just going to extend the pace laps to make sure everyone can get into their proper spot. So right now the 33 is not where he's supposed to be. Normally we have this set before it goes live, so I don't know why today it's different. Sure, why not? So I have a bonus yellow flag lap before the green. Connor Zilic, currently your Rookie of the Year leader, looking to get the 1 million bonus for winning the Rookie of the Year. He is 6th in the overall standing, so not out of the championship fight yet. He's got a 26-point lead over David Malukas, who is 2nd in the Rookie of the Year, but has been on a pretty solid streak as of lately. 2 podiums in the last 5 races. But Connor Zilic did get his first podium since, I believe, Road Atlanta all the way back in race 5. So he has a good opportunity today, but as we said, good opportunity for Shane Van Gisbergen, just 15 points back from Louis Foster in the championship, who's way back in the field. But this could be a very strong day for Van Gisbergen if he can just finish solidly and he can jump his teammate in the points. Ryan Preece also right there, 17 points back. Probably should have won at Pocono, but didn't have enough fuel. If he had won at Pocono, he would be the championship leader. Both Van Gisbergen and Preece chasing down their 2nd championship, trying to be the first one to be a multi-time champion. But the 11 of Louis Foster, he's going to be tough to beat, but his qualifying efforts as of lately have seriously been lacking, and he just hasn't qualified where you would expect him to be. Watkins Glen didn't qualify well, qualified all right at Pocono, but struggled in the back of the field. He did move his way forward near the end, but it was too little too late. Finished 14th, which is where he starts today. And then just a reminder, new team, Team Canada Drive, a 44 of Lewis Hamilton, starting 15th. And then Tibetan rookie driver Dawa Tenzin starting in last, 26th. So it will say we're getting the green this time. I'm going to throw another yellow just so we can get a double file start. But Silly Men Racing has also been a good story to watch as of lately. Chet Jordan and Marcus Armstrong struggling Indy and before, but ever since have been moving their way up through the points. Armstrong has had a lot of misfortune, and Pocono was another case of that. If that was the start, that would have been a very horrible start. But thank God that it wasn't. Clearing just in case anyone has any penalties, because for some reason things can't be normal. But yeah, it's been a good streak for Silly Men Racing, especially Watkins Glen with a 1-2, their first in team history. So they're coming in here with high hopes, starting 5th and 6th. Gail Barnhart, however, we're hearing may not finish out the season with Silly Men Racing. There's a small chance that he may not. And he starts down in 20th, so not at all what he would have wanted, especially when your career is on the line. Take a look at your weather. This race takes place August 16th at 2 p.m. 1 mile per hour wind speed, so Wind not really a factor today. 76 degrees, 86 track temp, and it is overcast and humid. Let's take a look at which tires each car will be running. The number 9 of Connor Zilich running on the mediums, typically the safe choice. Shane Van Gisbergen following in the mediums. Ryan Preece has the mediums. Pin, first one to go different with the soft tires. Has fallen outside the top 10 in points, so a good run today could put her back in. Chet Jordan also going bold with the softs. Armstrong on the softs. Tsunoda on the mediums. Isla on the mediums. Brewer, I believe, is the first one on the hards, all the way down in ninth. So that is your top 9. Qualifying order scrolling across the top of your screen. As we're about to line up, double file, 1 to green. As we do have someone gonna pull into the pits and forfeit their spot. That's gonna be the 54 of Mahavir Raghunathan. So he'll forfeit his spot, but that was only 25th. Shouldn't have too much of an effect. The field now lines up double file. As we get set to go, 26 cars, the most we've ever seen in the Open Wheel Offline League. We've seen 25, but now we have a full 13th row. This is also the first time we've been to West Virginia here at Summit Point. There's a track map. A lot of long, fast straightaways. This track just barely under 2 miles. You do have a tight, twisty section at the top end of the track. Going to be quite exciting as this championship heats up towards the end. A lot of these drivers don't know where they're going next season. A good amount have been recontracted. Your front row has been recontracted. Connor Zilich and Shane Van Gisbergen to remain at their respective teams, regardless of how the rest of the season plays out. But a lot of guys still have a lot to play for, a lot of money on the line, and the championship still wide open. There's 8 cars within 1 race worth of points. There's been a big lack of consistency throughout the field, which has made the points super tight at the top. Gonna have to see how packed up they are coming to green. Pace car's gonna pull off as we get going. Green flag is out here at Summit Point, and the whole outside line doesn't get going. Dorian Pin slow, and that is going to hold up that entire lane as we go down into turn 1. The whole even side of the field just got a big benefit as Shane Van Gisbergen drops down to 4th, as he's going to go side by side with Chet Jordan. Try to stay onto the podium. He's going to stay ahead, but that hurts championship leader Louis Foster, as he's now all the way down in 21st. Things cannot go right for him, it seems. But the field just got a big shuffle. That's something that we haven't seen since Detroit, but it strikes here at Summit Point. And that's going to bring a lot of drivers to the back, a lot of unfortunate circumstances. Dorian Pin Still the first one in the line, but she's all the way down in 16th now. You can see the track map. Right now, the 95 currently in front of the 94 of Dawa Tenzin in his debut. That's the 54 of Mahavir Gunathan. A lot of those guys got held back, but right now it's Connor Zilic leading the way. 4 attempts up on Ryan Preece. Run down the front straightaway and into turn 1. Back here, Lewis Hamilton looking to make a move on David Malukas in his debut. Right outside the top 10 is the number 30 of Robbie Lohr, who just got a big handout as Dawa Tenzin going to move into 13th. Dorian Pin still behind the 54. That whole line just did not get going and lost plenty of spots. We'll have to see what the drivers in that lane can do. Ryan Preece falling back from Connor Zilic, down by a second now. Van Gisbergen back by 3 tenths on Preece. Here's David Malukas making a look on Guy Gagné in that number 90. Can't get by as the 12 and the 30 side by side. Miles Rowe gonna stay ahead as Marcus Armstrong has gotten by Dorian Pin for 16th. These guys have lost a lot of time. Tenzin, Martz, and Raghunathan not going very fast right now and lacking a lot of pace. Five laps complete already out of 50. And Ryan Preece in second, holding off Shane Van Gisbergen. Jet Jordan has arrived on the scene though. He's in those soft tires, so we're gonna have to see how hard he's pushing. Back here is a complete swarm behind Mahavir Gunathan. Marcus Armstrong not making a move, which is odd because he's on the soft tires. These guys have got to get going if they want to make any effort to try to catch back up to where they were. Ryan Preece 1.9 seconds behind Van Gisbergen, who might be under attack from the 24 of Chet Jordan. He's 2 tenths back, gonna get into the slipstream and go to the inside, can't quite get there. Back here, Gagné holding off David Malukas, as they're both going to blow by Lindsey Brewer in the 47, who's now dropped down to 8th. Still nobody making a move on the 54. They desperately need to get by this guy. Lacked pace for a good amount of the season, both the Skibbity Sigma cars. Pretty crucial that they try to get around. So the 94 of Dawa Tenzin goes off track. In his debut, he's the first one to find the track limits in this race. He's going to get fired again, but has lost a lot of time. Will fall down to 26th and last. Ryan Preece still holding off Shane Van Gisbergen. Right now, as they stand, Ryan Preece would be your points leader. So here they go. Now they're looking to the inside of Raghunathan going into turn 1. It can't get there. Not good enough run into turn 1. As the 94 is off track once again. His debut not going so smoothly. as there is a massive gap between the 30 of Robbie Lohr and the 95 of Ethan Martz. At 95 is not going fast, but 54 not going fast. Just look at that visual gap. Here comes the 33 of Marcus Armstrong to the inside. He's gotten ahead of the 54, but still stuck behind the 95. The 03 of Dorian Pinn will also go by. So starting to get moving just a little bit. Right now, David Malukas kind of leading this lane. Ryan Preece up by 1 second on Shane Van Gisbergen, but Connor Zilich leading the way up at the front. Marcus Armstrong is on the soft tires, so he's got to get by the 95 soon to try to maximize these tires. Here he goes, making a move. As he's going to get to the inside and gets by, you also see Callum Ilott going by Mahavir in the back. Armstrong now has a car between him and Pinn. They're going to move forward. Top 5 still the same, but the tire wear will start kicking in soon. Gonna have to see how that affects the racing. Lewis Hamilton all over the back of Lindsey Brewer looking for a top 10 on debut. Brewer looking for back-to-back top 10s. He's going to move to the inside here, and he's going to get it. Oh, maybe she's going to fight back, as this is very good defensive driving from the 47. Nearly, but Miles Rowe got by Catherine Legg in the back to break into the top 10. Now Armstrong in clean air. Let's see what he has pace-wise. Dorian Pinn in 14th, the one with the issue earlier. Callum Ilott in 16th. Points leader Louis Foster all the way down in 20th. This is going about as bad as it could be, as Shane Van Gisbergen has gone to the inside of Ryan Preece and gotten the second place. Let's see. Yeah, he just got a draft and then went to the inside, got the position. So Shane Van Gisbergen now back to second, Ryan Preece in third. Just now puts Van Gisbergen as the points leader. That was a big move. As Peterson gets by Deletta for 18th. Louis Foster still not moving forward right now. He was up by 15 coming into this race, but right now he is down by 15. Van Gisbergen gonna have Preece behind him once again, and Preece gonna throw it to the inside and get second place back. And just like that, Ryan Preece is now your points leader. So this battle for second is battle for the points lead. Meanwhile, Zilich has gapped by 2 seconds up on the cars behind. Callum Ilott gets by Ethan Martz, as Deletta will get to the inside of Benjamin Peterson. They're going to be side by side coming into turn 2. Peterson will stay ahead. But this is yet another race where Louis Foster sits around 20th the whole time and doesn't move forward, as Raghunathan has gone off track. He is backwards and stuck in the gravel. He is not moving at all, as now he's going to back up. Is he stuck? This could be a yellow if he doesn't get going. Possibly first yellow of the day. Mahavir Raghunathan not moving. Still No movement. Trying to let everyone go. As now he's going to... And that will be the yellow flag right as Chet Jordan enters pit lane. The 24 car in the pits. Right as the yellow flag came out. This could seriously help the 24 if everyone else pits. Mahavir Raghunathan stalled on the track, brings out the yellow, and Chet Jordan pits just in time. As let's see what the 54 did in the first place. So a full head of steam and just completely misses the turn, then spins in the gravel. As he is going to have to tow. Gonna see if he can come back out at some point. But right now he will be a lap down at minimum. But Chet Jordan goes by the pace car. If everyone pits here, this will put Jordan at the front of the field. He was on the softs, now he is on the mediums, trying to go long. Raghunathan will exit the pits, so he's not out of the race, but will be a lap down. So the straightforward race for Connor Zilich now gets a little more interesting. And everyone will be brought back together. Ryan Preece, as of now, your provisional points leader by just 8 points over Shane Van Gisbergen. He's been pretty inconsistent throughout the season, but has looked very strong as of recently. Gonna have to see if anyone pits here. Seems as nobody at the front will. So right now, Chet Jordan looking like a loner back here. Jacob Abel, the only car that will come in, he is on the soft tires. But everyone else decides to stay out. Gonna have to see how this plays out. Chet Jordan now at the back. As for some reason, Raghunathan has completely disappeared off the track. We cannot find him anymore. It says he's in pit lane, but he is not. So, whatever happened, he is now out of the race and will be logged as 26th. That will be his second last place finish of the season. Hasn't really had a good run since, I believe, I'd want to say Detroit. That was kind of his last really good run, as the season has become pretty rough. Not just for him, but his teammate Ethan Martz. He has been falling further and further away from the field. Right now he sits in 15th, so not all bad so far, but clearly off pace. The next time by will be the one to green. So Connor Zilich going to lead us back to green. Gonna have to see if both lanes actually get going this time, because it's very likely that the outside may not go again. We know the first car can, but I don't know about that second car, which will be the 27 of Yuki Tsunoda. So everyone who has a car on the outside, be a little worried. There's also a chance that it could go back to the inside. I would say the front 2 rows should be safe, but you can't really tell. The only 2 cars have pit, the 24 of Chet Jordan, who's going to be deep in the field, and then the 75 of Jacob Abel at the tail end of the field. Jordan pit right before it went yellow, and Abel pit under the yellow, so we're going to have to see what happens to those 2 cars. If the strategy goes their way, they could be in for a good result today. So here we go, pace car gonna pull off. Let's see if both lanes get going. As they do not, Yuki Tsunoda does not get going. Shane Van Gisbergen gonna slide into second already. Ryan Preece gonna fall backwards. Comes the 90 of Guy Gagné now in 4th. Looking to move forward. As here goes Shane Van Gisbergen around the outside, looking for the lead. He's still there. Not quite. He has to get back in line, but he is now in 2nd, ahead of Ryan Preece, which once again, that's a change in the points lead. Yuki Tsunoda falls all the way down to 15th. Everyone that was in that line again got hosed. We're going to have to see if those guys can get going. Van Gisbergen right behind Connor Zilich by 4/10. Gonna have to see what speed they have down the straightaway as another car pits. Louis Foster, he's just gonna pit now to not have to be stuck in traffic. This could be a very good call from the 11 team. Those are the decisions that could win you a championship. As everyone at the front yet to pit, 19 laps in. Van Gisbergen keeping with Connor Zilich. He's not escaping this time. Lindsey Brewer now going to pit from 5th. Gonna have to see where she cycles out in terms of the cars that have already pit. So does David Malukas. He's going to come in as well. Shane Van Gisbergen still following Connor Zilic, back by only 2 tenths. Right now the leader out of the cars out of pit is Jacob Abel in 13th. Jet Jordan down in 20th. He got pretty darn hosed with the stack up once again. Lindsey Brewer down in 23rd, Malukas in 24th, and Foster in 25th. Connor Zilic leads by 2 tenths over Shane Van Gisbergen. If he can get the draft here, he could take the lead, but he's not closing in by enough. He's going to look to the outside, can't quite get there. Here's Dorian Pinn trying to go by Robbie Lohr for 6th place. To the inside and not quite clear. Robbie's going to be ahead going into the kink. Priest has now closed in on the back of Van Gisbergen for 2nd place. Ryan Priest all over the back of Shane Van Gisbergen. Let's see if he tries to make a move here. He's going to go to the inside. And he's side by side. Let's see if they draw even. And Ryan Priest is clear. He is back into 2nd place. See if he has anything to chase down Connor Zilic with, as Shane Van Gisbergen drops to 3rd. Ethan Martz has a stack up behind him. We know he's not one of the quicker cars out there. Dawa Tenzin all over the place. The back wheels slid out from underneath him. Yuki Tsunoda trying to move forward. Callum Ilott, Marcus Armstrong got hosed again. Very bad luck. Foster's closing in on Malukas. As here comes Ryan Priest. He's going to look to the outside. Can't quite get there. But he is all over the back of Connor Zilic. So the number 9 team in a little bit of trouble. Ryan Priest trails by 4 tenths. We go into the twisty part of the track now, back down these straightaways. Fast final turn. But it carries all the momentum down the front stretch. Priest not going to be close enough to make a move here. Neither Van Gisbergen. Guy Gagné in a good run right now in 4th. Priest does close in but can't quite make a move. Ethan Martz has the 87 of Alessio Deletta all over the back of him. He's going to take a defensive line though. We saw him be defensive at Mid-Ohio, which gave him the win, as he plants himself in the middle of the track as Gale Barnhart looking to crack the top 10. He's going to get by Stingray Robb. Yuki Tsunoda trying to get by Dawa Tenzin. As Jet Jordan is moving forward, he's up to 18th. The guy he's got to try to get by is the 75 of Jacob Abel. Those are the cars at a pit. As these 3 are very close together, here comes Ryan Priest for the lead. He's going to get to the inside of Connor Zilic. Zilic not backing out yet, but it is going to be Ryan Priest, your new race leader, looking for race win number 3 of the season. He now has a points lead of, I believe, it would be about 18, I want to say. But moving forward, but Zilich not done yet. He is still all over the back of Ryan Preece. He's going to get another run here. Preece going to lead at the line, so we do have a different leader. But Connor Zilich has the run. And he's going to go around the outside, and he's going to get the lead back and made it look easy. Championship points lead is fluctuating back and forth. As Deletta to the inside of Ethan Martz. But Ethan Martz just completely outbreaks him. That 95 is being bold to defend his top 10. May not have the pace, but he is defending strongly. So is the 94 of Dawa Tenzin. As Lewis Hamilton on the inside of Jacob Abel doesn't quite back out yet. But the 75 going to stay ahead. Chet Jordan up to 17th. He is still moving forward. As Zilich now has a pretty solid lead. 9/10 over Preece. So Preece leads just one lap, but has lost significant time to the number 9. 1.5 seconds now. That 64 is dropping like a rock. We know he struggles with saving tires, and it seems to be continuing as Marcus Armstrong going to enter the pit lane just at the halfway point in the race. As Jacob Abel is getting swamped back here, Sonoda gets by Tenzin. Abel nearly gets passed by Hamilton again. Chet Jordan still moving forward. 8.3 seconds for Marcus Armstrong. He's going to go back out. Going to just barely stay on the lead lap here. Preece really struggles with tire management. Right now he's hanging on to second, but Shane Van Gisbergen all over the back of him. As you look at your track map, look at that. There's two separate stack ups as Robbie Lohr going to come in right in front of Dorian Pinn, who has been trying to get by him for so long, so this has got to be frustrating, so she's going to want to try to beat him out. As Alessio Deletta has gotten by Ethan Martz, passes him. As Pinn going to get the better stop, and she's going to jump him on pit road here. Going to come out behind the 11 of Louis Foster, who has pit before, as Zilich going to come in now. So your leader comes in. Let's see where he comes out in terms of the 75, who is the first car who has pit. But the 24 of Chet Jordan is right on the back of him. We could have a new winner today. Connor Zilich going to exit the pit lane, and he is going to be ahead of Jacob Abel by a pretty large margin. He's going to come out just in front of the 95. He doesn't want to let the 95 pass. He's going to be on the soft tires, but not enough heat in the tires to get by. And if Preece or Van Gisbergen can jump the 95, that could hose the number 9. Peterson and Catherine Legg pit. Preece, Van Gisbergen come in now. Miles Rowe comes in. Gagne is in. We're going to have to see where they come out. Van Gisbergen far down in pit lane. The number 9 going to be coming down the front stretch right now. As here he comes, and he is going to jump him. Preece gets out way ahead of Van Gisbergen, who has a very bad stop. Gagne got by him. Miles Rowe comes out in the middle of traffic. Right in front of Jacob Abel. That is pretty crucial. Chet Jordan still behind the 75. We don't know if he's going to be able to make it to the end. As things are cycling, you're just going to have to see. Alessio Deletta, currently your race leader, up by 3.8 seconds on Zilich, as he will come in now. Zilich up by 3 seconds over Ryan Preece. That is a big margin, but he is on the soft tires, so we are gonna have to see if he can make it to the end on those. Preece on the mediums, Gagne on the softs, Van Gisbergen on the softs. Miles Rowe should have the better tires over Abel and Jordan, as Louis Foster now cycles inside the top 10. I believe your whole top 10 has pit now. He's going to go to the inside of Lindsey Brewer here. Yes, your whole top 10 has pit, but some cars a lot earlier than others. A lot of cycling back here. Right now, Glubler, unfortunately, in the bad position of last place. Barnhart right in front of his teammate Marcus Armstrong in 14th. Armstrong on the mediums, Barnhart on the softs, trying to make it to the end. I really wonder if Chet Jordan will be able to make it to the end, considering he pit the earliest. He's going to try to go to the inside of Abel here, but cannot get by. He is on the medium tires, so it looks all right for him. But a lot of strange occurrences has led to some drivers needing to think quickly, and it's working for some drivers, not others. Yuki Tsunoda did get jumped by the 95 once again, and he's probably got to be losing his mind right now. In an unfortunate position, that 95 is just parachuting backwards as the 33 and 42 have driven away. Connor Zilich looking good as Van Gisbergen going to go to the inside of Guy Gagne and get back on the podium. He's got to try to chase down Ryan Preece, who has gained a little bit of time on Connor Zilich, but not quite enough. There could be some lap traffic coming soon for Zilich. We look above, there's Zilich, and there's the back of the field. Almost on the same straightaway now. Probably only back by about 10 seconds. Preece in second, Van Gisbergen in third, Gagne not far behind him. Miles Rowe has gained a little bit of a gap over Jacob Abel, who sits in sixth, with Chet Jordan not far behind. David Malukas in eighth. Louis Foster in ninth, who may be salvaging a very good points day if he can make it home. Then Lindsey Brewer in 10th with teammate Alessio Deletta right behind Dorian Pin. However, is a quick car going to go by Deletta. But can she outbrake him into turn one? Deletta trying to hang strong on the outside, and he does. As Lewis Hamilton has now gotten by Yuki Tsunoda. That's gotta sting. As 27 just not having a good time here. So Foster's not going to need too big of a stint to make it to the end. Abel and Jordan, I think, are going to be an interesting duo to watch. They are just going to need to stay ahead of the field as much as possible. As Pin around the outside of Deletta now. As Gale Barnhart has gone off track at some point in the lap. He did go off, but he's going to rejoin and only loses one spot to his teammate Marcus Armstrong. So not a big deal. He is on the soft tires, and those you really have to take care of. So him going off, not very good. Zilich gaining time on Preece once again. Van Gisbergen 2 seconds back on Preece. Gagne has lost a lot of time to Van Gisbergen. Rowe still ahead of Abel and Jordan. Lucas leads Foster. As Dorian Pin now going to try to go around the outside of Lindsey Brewer. But Brewer gonna defend, which allows Alessio Deletta on the inside. That's teammates helping teammates. But Pin looks to have the advantage here and will stay ahead. This group here contains 10th, well, 8th through 13th. Pretty close group as Zilich now has nearly caught the back of the field, and we're going to have to see if he can fight off the back markers, as we do have 2 cars pitting. Foster pits, he cannot make it to the end, and neither can Brewer. So those 2 cars not able to make it to the end. We're going to have to see what happens to them, but that may be it for Foster. They are going to come back out on the lead lap, but this is not the easiest track to pass, so I don't know if they're going to be able to make up that time. They come out 21st and 22nd. I do believe there'd be other cars that would need to pit again. Lubler gets by Hubbard as Abel comes in now. He's not able to make it. Chet Jordan still staying out. He's gone for pretty long now. That would have to be a super stretch if he can make it to the end. Abel could come out still in a good spot here. He's going to come out right around Barnhart, so actually just barely outside the top 10 as Pin and Malukas battle for 7th, and Pin's going to get by. Pin is going very fast as Zilich is going to pit now. Zilich could not make it on the softs. He's going to need to pit again. Priest is on the mediums. So that may have just been a win tossed by Zilich and his crew. But 1 second back is Shane Van Gisbergen, as Chet Jordan does have to come in. We're going to have to see if these cars can make it to the end. They've only got to do about 12 more laps, which compared to how they did in the first stint, they should easily be able to make it home. But Lucas has to pit. A lot of cars not able to make it to the end. This is shuffling the field around. Chet Jordan does jump Jacob Abel. It will come out still in the top 10. The team is not quite happy with the decision. A big miscommunication, as Zilich does stay in the top 5, but that is a win that just got tossed, as there is the 25 right in front of the 43 of Shane Van Gisbergen. A lapped car in the way. Did Malukas pit twice? I don't know how he's a lap down. Or maybe he was just, yeah, I think he was just far enough back. But Priest is getting away. Van Gisbergen in second. Zilich now just trying to chase down anything that he can. A bizarre call on the pit stand, as Chet Jordan going to get by teammate Gale Barnhart to get into the top 10. Van Gisbergen has to pit. He can't make it. He was on the soft tires. So anyone that took the softs now having to come in. So Gagne going to come in as well. Priest is on the mediums. He is in smooth sailing. Rowe is on the softs. Zilich came out on the medium, so Zilich back on the podium. But it's going to be a large ask to try to beat Priest. I think Rowe may need to pit again, though. Once again, you see a split strategy between one stop and two stop, but now Ryan Priest is in lap traffic. We're going to have to see what he can do here. Miles Rowe might need to pit this time. You see the stint length at the bottom of your screen. You can see which cars are trying to get to the end. Rowe going to stay out. We do know you can get it done. Glubler got it done at Watkins Glen. Unfortunately for him, he's just having a rough day out there today. As Connor Zilic closing in on Miles Rowe, trying to do the Chet Jordan, but did not have the lead that Chet Jordan had at Watkins Glen. But second place still on the cards, and who knows, Priest may need to pit. As the 87 of Alessio Deletta is off track, and he is in a bad spot here in turn 1. If he doesn't get going, this could be a yellow flag, which is exactly what Connor Zilic needs. Lewis Hamilton, I believe, is also off the track, and he's going to come back right in front of the 18, and the 18 is going to be upside down. Yellow flag will be thrown immediately. Cars swerving everywhere to try to get by, as the 18 once again ends up in an accident, not of his own causing. That may just end his championship hopes. What happened to first the 87, all on his own, way too hot, gets on the marbles and spins out. Then you have, we may need to go to a blimp cam for this. So you have Deletta sitting here. 44 went off somewhere, so he may have been the first one. Yeah, Hamilton was the first one that tried to go by. Then he pulls out right in front of Ilott and then just makes contact with him. And Ilott ends up upside down. Let's see what he saw to see if he could have really done anything, because he was on the outside line anyways. So nowhere to go. It's a tight track. And Deletta also hit Hamilton. This is, if there were stewards, they would, that was a really bad move. But with 7 laps to go, we have a yellow flag. Try to shorten this to get as much racing as we can in these final laps. I got no words. This race has had a little bit of everything. That's going to be one more restart that I don't think these guys are going to be particularly happy to do. Somehow the 87 gets away with only a couple spots lost. Hamilton and pit road, his debut, going to come to an end. And Callum Ilott, once again involved in a crash where a car goes upside down. This is what Connor Zilic needed. The lapped car is going to get cycled to the back. First car lap down does get his lap back, and I believe that will be the double zero. So Glubler going to end up on the lead lap. Miles Rowe going to be in second, but he is going to be vulnerable on those soft tires. Couple cars at the back pit. Alessio Deletta coming in probably for some repairs. Tenzin also in pit road. As the 99, it says, okay, never mind. He's just letting cars go. Glubler's going to get his lap back. Actually, we won't be able to shorten this one due to the car trying to get his lap back, so we're probably going to go green with just 4 to go. This is the blessing that Connor Zilic's team needed, which may mean the 2-stop does pay off. All 3 Silly Men racing cars in the top 10. That is a very good effort by that team. Alessio Deletta comes back onto the track, officially labeled as a terrorist. This race has had a little bit of everything. Points leader Louis Foster going to get stuck deep in the field. His 2-stop strategy did not work at all. He will have a little bit more pace than the cars in front of him, so he could still gain some spots out of it. But this looks to be another race where he does not finish in the top 10. Calamai in pit road. They're trying to repair that car to send it back out. Hamilton is in pit road as well. But those are going to be some lengthy repairs. It's going to be a single file restart this time, so hopefully that removes any of the nonsense that we had earlier. This field has been shuffled. How is he going back out? He was the car that flipped. How is Hamilton not? Sure. Somehow the 18 gets back going again, despite being on its lid. Just 2 laps down, unfortunately. So here we go. 1 to green this time by. Single file restart. A lot of points on the line for these cars. This is going to be quite the battle. The number 9, he's going to try and go for it. The 43 is going to be right on him. So, elbows will be out. This isn't the best track for passing. It's quite narrow, but going down into turn 1 is where you're going to have to make the move, but you're only going to have 4 laps to do it. And this restart, the restart lap won't be close enough, I'd assume. So really only about 3 attempts, I'd say, to get 2 cars. It's going to be quite the challenge. I think the 12 should be easy to pick off for Zilich and Van Gisbergen. Just because he's on the soft tires, he's clinging on to dear life at the end here. But Priest may be a little bit of a different challenge. Let's get ready to rumble. If the yellow flag comes out this late, that will end the race. There's going to be a lot of cars on some old tires, so be aware of that. Miles Rowe looking for a second career podium. Priest looking to take the points lead. Zilich looking to correct his result at Iowa. Van Gisbergen looking for points. Gagne looking to try to get into the top 10 in the points. As Ryan Priest accelerates, let's get going. The field all equally spread. It's a good restart. Miles Rowe does not keep up with Priest as much. Rowe could see a first win if he is able to pull it off, but those soft tires going to be limping to the end. Everyone going to funnel into turn 1. Priest up by half a second over Miles Rowe. Zilich going to be right behind him. He needs to get by this 12 car now, but he's not really going to get a good attempt until turn 1, as Priest has already pulled out a second. And Connor Zilich cannot let the number 43 by. Rowe going to take a defensive line in the middle of the track. Zilich not making a move. Van Gisbergen might. Zilich tries pulling to the inside, but cannot get by. That is crucial. With just 3 laps to go, Ryan Preece has pulled out a 2-second lead. And that could be ball game for the 9 and the 43. Rowe planted himself in the middle of the track and made it as difficult as possible for cars to go by. 4-second lead for Preece. It is going to be pretty much impossible to track him down now. Here goes Zilich. Now we're looking at Van Gisbergen. Let's see where the number 9 goes. Rowe plants himself in the middle of the track once again, and Zilich not able to get by. As Gagne looking to the inside of Van Gisbergen, but can't quite get there. Miles Rowe looking for his best career result, as Ryan Preece is nearly 5 seconds up. He is absolutely flying. Points leader coming into this race, Louis Foster, all the way down in 17th. But Ryan Preece, third in points, has the lead. And it looks like he may get the win as white flag is out. This is the last attempt for the number 9. He's going to get to the inside, but it's too little too late. Van Gisbergen might try to follow. Gagne going to go around the outside. Zilich completely beats Rowe into turn 1. Van Gisbergen cannot. 4.5 seconds over Zilich. I think that is lights out for the 11 as of now, as he's all the way down in 16th trying to beat Catherine Legg. He's going to go around the outside and get it. That is another not top 10, as his rival will take the win. Ryan Preece, a tumultuous day, but it is him who reigns supreme as he chases down the second championship. He wins at Summit Point. Connor Zilich going to come home second, and Miles Rowe going to hang on to a third place finish. Second podium of the season, second podium of his career. Van Gisbergen and Gagne will round out the top 5, so a double top 5 for Viking Racing. Results scrolling across the top. So that is it from Summit Point. As let's take a look at your official results. Ryan Preece, 3.5 seconds on Connor Zilich. Zilich had a lot of time that he closed in on that final lap, but it's just not enough. Miles Rowe ties his best result in third place. Shane Van Gisbergen will finish in fourth, a solid points day for him, but not what he wanted as Preece takes the win. Guy Gagne will finish in fifth. Not a bad result for the team, a second and a fifth, but they did really want that win, but just barely misses out. Dorian Pinn will finally finish in the top 10 once again in sixth. Robbie Lohr started deep in the field, but once again manages to sneak into the top 10 in seventh. And then all three Silly Men Racing cars finish 8th, 9th, and 10th. And that is the first top 10 for Gail Barnhart in a good while. Chet Jordan going to stay near the top of the standings. And Armstrong will bag some solid points. Jacob Abel will finish in 11th with some good strategy. Yuki Tsunoda had a frustrating day. Will finish in 12th. Benjamin Peterson in 13th. Stingray Robb in 14th. Louis Foster finishes behind Ethan Martz. Martz gets 15th, which is his best result in quite a while. Louis Foster 16th. Catherine Legg down in 17th. Another rough result for her. Alessio Deletta in 18th after causing a lot of chaos near the end of the race and nearly completely flips the result. No pun intended. 19th, Lindsey Brewer had a good run going, but will finish far down the order. Globler Lore in 20th. Then all the cars a lap down. David Malukas, rough day, will finish in 21st. Had the pace, but just not the result. Brennan Hubbard in 22nd. 23rd, Dawa Tenzin in his debut. 24th will be Callum Ilott, who finishes despite being upside down. And then your two classified DNFs, Lewis Hamilton in his debut will finish in 25th after being involved in an incident that wasn't his doing. And then Raghunathan will finish in 26th. An eventful race here at Summit Point. The third to last road course. We only have 5 races remaining in the championship, 3 ovals, 2 road courses. Only one of those tracks have we gone to before, so a lot of new places to be explored. We go to the Oval of Kentucky. Qualifying will be on Friday, and it's going to be a very exciting race from what I've tested. So make sure to tune in on Saturday.